Okay. The topic of today has come up 2, maybe 3 times this week alone in coaching sessions. So it felt worth diving into and unpacking a bit more for everybody. It is ruthless prioritization using a framework, a very simple framework that's typically used over in the emotional intelligence space, and we're going to flip it for prioritization. First, what do I mean by ruthless prioritization? Ruthless being a fairly extreme word. What I mean is this: a process by which we consciously and mindfully identify those things that are truly most important to be worked on. The reason this is important is, as you and I know, many of us choose to work on things based on a bunch of factors that are entirely suboptimal. Whatever's easiest for us to do, whatever's in front of us right now in our inbox or comes into our office, walking into our office, whatever we believe others want to see us work on and that we should be working on reputationally. Squeakiest wheel gets the grease. All of these are, as we all know, the wrong ways to prioritize. So we need a process, a simple one, and one that gets to what we should be working on rationally. Now, that's out of the way. Let's talk about this framework that's leveraged in emotional intelligence. It goes like this. There are 3 questions, and before you communicate something, you quickly ask yourself, must this be communicated? In other words, am I creating more signal or more noise? 2, must this be communicated now? In other words, it may be important, but could I be distracting from a flow that we're in or from something that is more urgent? And lastly, must this be communicated by me? In other words, is there somebody else more appropriate to deliver the message, or that the message would be more effectively delivered by because there's more rapport, or messages of this sort for this topic tend to come from this person? So if we end the video here, you've got a great framework for being more emotionally intelligent in your communication. Must this be communicated? Must this be communicated now? Must this be communicated by me? Now, how do we flip that for prioritization, topic that I promised we would cover? The questions get flipped in such a way. Must this be done? Must this be done now? And must this be done by me? If you stop and take 5 minutes at the beginning of your day and look at your calendar and look at all the meetings you have or all the work you're going to do, and you ask these questions, you're going to identify 3 kinds of work that you have accepted and chosen to devote time to. Work that you believe has to get done, but just is not crucial to the success of the business or the success of whatever you're responsible for. It could be the norms of your workspace. It could have been crucial previously at some point, but it no longer is. It doesn't matter why. It's no longer, or now, it is not crucial to the success of your business. If you don't do it, success will still happen, most likely. The second thing you'll identify is it's work that's important. It just is not as important as other things. In other words, it can be delayed. Thirdly, work that can be delegated, work somebody else can do. There are plenty of things that are absolutely crucial to get done. They're urgent. They need to get done now, but they're not tasks or meetings or efforts that you must own. So, is this crucially important? Must this be done? Must this be done now? Must this be done by me? 3 simple questions you can ask at the beginning of your day, looking through everything. You can ask as something shows up in your inbox, as you're tempted to take a meeting that comes up. When is this not useful, maybe even damaging? When you are habitually avoidant or a procrastinator. In that instance, you will use these questions to rationalize why you should avoid doing this thing and why you should procrastinate further. That's a whole other issue. What we're talking about is prioritizing for those who are overwhelmed, they have too much on their plate, etc. That topic is a whole other set of questions, another framework, and maybe even another video I'll post and record. So we'll leave it at that. If this was useful, as always, like it, share it with somebody else. If this was useful, but you know that you need help in creating change, like insightful knowledge of this nature is insufficient in itself, you need some assistance in really creating behavioral change for yourself, for your organization, etc. And you've been thinking about coaching, and yet you're somewhat hesitant, but you'd like to explore more, give me a shout. We can have a conversation about what it is you would maybe want from coaching, whether coaching is even right, is the right fit for you, what kind of coach you may or may not want. You might need a coach, but not somebody like myself. And so if that's interesting to you, send me a message and we'll go from there. In other words, I'd love to chat. Outside of that, have a great day. I wish you the very best in being the most effective executive you can possibly be.